Namaste everyone and welcome to Data Millennials. Hey everyone, welcome back to our Excel series. In this video we are going to talk about the reference within the formulas in Excel and how we can understand the different references which has been used in formula. So sometimes when you get an Excel sheet, you will see that somebody else has applied a lot of formulas in their sheet and you need to understand that how exactly they are calculating a particular value. Based on your understanding of the formula, you have to come up with a theory that okay, the person which have shared the file with me has applied the correct formula or not. So there are two things: the formula which the previous person has applied is correct, then you can go ahead and work on that Excel file. Else what you need to do is that you need to correct the formulas and then you have to work on it. So before working on an Excel file which has been shared by somebody else to you, you need to understand what kind of output they are getting from the calculations of the formula. So what I'll do is that for this video we have to work on understanding the formula reference. Okay, and to do that it's better that we apply some formula and then we try to understand the reference which it has been taking. Okay, so currently I have in column A age and there is a bucket which I have created. Now if somebody comes to this sheet and they sees the formula as well as the value, they will understand that okay, the age, if the age is till 10, it's the bucket is showing us till 10, and if it's above 10 it's showing till 20. This is not correct. Okay, for example, if I put it here 85, it will show me above 20, right? But it doesn't show me that how much above it is. But for our exercise it's sufficient enough to show me that okay, the age is above 20. So some sort of the formula is correct, but what we need to do is that we need to understand whether this formula is absolutely correct or not. And in order to do that, we have to examine the formula which has been applied by the previous person. So how you can examine the formula and understand the formula reference which has been taken by the previous person? Okay, to do that, what you need to do is that you have to go to the range or the cell which has formula. Then if you press F2, okay, you will be able to edit the formulas which has been applied. And the another way is that you can go to the formula bar and then click here. Then the cell which has been used for the formulas is highlighted. Now what I need to do is that I need to understand whether this formula is absolutely correct or not. So to do that, what I can do is that I can go and start examining it. So in the start, the formula has if function. So if is a function which used to test the logical values, and if it's true, then what should be the output, and if it's false, then what should be the output. So there are three parameters in a if function. First is the logical test, then the second is what if the logical test is true, and the third is what if the logical test is false. Now when I go to this formula, I see that A3 is here. This means that it's testing the value which is in A3. Now if I go to A and I go to row 3, it's 14, right? So if A3 is less than 10, then it is showing me till 10. So if the value is true, then show till 10. Else there is another if function where it tests that if value of A3 is less than equal to 20, then show till 20, otherwise show above 20. So as far as I'm examining this formula, it seems correct, and it is. It's taking the correct reference here, and it's giving the accurate output that if the age is above 20, then if the age is less than or equal to 20, then put 20, otherwise put above 20. And if age is above 10, sorry, if age is less than equal to 10, then put till 10, and if it's above 10, then go and test. If it's less than 20, then put till 20, right? So I can see within this formula it's taking the correct reference. Now if I go to some other cell and check, it's taking the correct reference. So right now I'm in cell B9 and it's checking cell A9. What if, suppose if there is something like, if I change it to A7, okay, now all the values within this formula I change it to A7. I'll change it to A7, right? So you are checking the formula and you came to know that okay, this formula seems correct, right? And you have checked the first two rows or three rows and you find out that okay, the formula is correct and I can go ahead and work with it. But what if in a particular cell, for example this cell, it has a wrong formula? By default, sorry, by mistake somebody has given the incorrect reference. How would you know that? The first thing is that Excel will give you this highlighted color thing here, this green thing which you are seeing here. So Excel basically sees what is the pattern within a data set, and whenever the pattern is disrupted, it will give you some kind of notification, you can say, or some kind of indication that okay, this cell has a different pattern as compared to other cells. So when you see a data set and you know that that particular data set has formulas, and if you see something like this green or yellow within a cell, then you know that okay, there might be some problem. Then if I go and select this cell, I can then see the formula which has been applied in this cell and what is the reference. Now if I click on this address bar, I can see that it's taking reference of A7, which is not correct. It should ideally take reference of A8. Now if I change it to A8, then the green color which was showing as an indication, it should not appear now, and it will not, because it's all these ranges will have the same pattern of formula, so it's correct. So this formula, this range has a formula which is used within this sheet. What if there is a formula which has a different sheet, which is a formula which gets the value from a different sheet? How will you examine that formula? To understand the formula reference and everything, I have this example here from the transaction data. Okay, and what I've done is that I have taken a sample of customer numbers and I want to get the date of birth. Now what you need to do is that you need to check that whether this date of birth which is coming here from the formula is correct or not. To do that, what you need to do is that you need to understand the transaction data first. When I go to transaction data, I can see there is a customer number, there is a date 2. Now this date 2 is date of birth of this customer, and within our example I have taken these 4 customers and I'm using a VLOOKUP function to get the date of birth. Now if I go to this cell and click in within this formula address, this formula bar, then I can see it's using VLOOKUP E3. Now the E3 is correct, it's taking the correct reference of the customer number. Then it's going to transaction data. So what I'll do is that I'll go to transaction data first. Okay, this is my transaction data and I want to get the date of birth, and date of birth is in column H. So what should the formula do? It should ideally go to this transaction data sheet, then search for that customer number within this column G, and then for example this is our customer 734577060. It should get me the date of birth which is in the next column H. This is 2014 10/29. Now I know that I have to search for customer number in column G and get the value of column H, right? So then I'll go to this formula again and then I'll click within the formula. Okay, now I'll see again that okay, it's taking reference E3, which is this customer number. Then it goes to transaction data which is here. Okay, and it's looking at column G and H, which is these column G and H, which is absolutely correct. I have to look into column G for that particular customer and the date of birth in column H. So it's taking reference of column G and column H. It search for this customer number and then it's getting the second reference. So what if I need, so right now it's correct. Now suppose by mistake I put 3 here and it's giving me an error, right? Now how would I check this formula that whether it's getting the correct value or not? So the same process I'll follow. It's searching for this value which is in E3 column, this customer number, then it will go to transaction data, and within this column G and H it will take the third value. Now in this formula I had given only two columns, column G and column H, which is here, column G and column H. So if I count the columns, this column G becomes column first, column H become columns 2. So I have to get date of birth, which is in column 2. So ideally I should put 2 here. Then my formula will give me the correct output. So this is how you basically go and check the formula reference within an Excel. And once you check the reference and you see that okay, my values are getting captured correctly with the help of this formula, then basically you drag this formula and you get the output. Hey, if you find this video insightful, then do check out other videos and hit the like and subscribe button.